Patriots add to their lead.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
I hope y'all keep that same energy for tonight, baby. Can't wait.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Slipping and sliding, he was like a cat. Pop, pop, bang. The Patriots win. The Patriots win. Panthers 10, Patriots 20. That's for you, Paul, as we get going. Yeah, what? Who? What?
So thank you kindly.
You're welcome. Patriots Postgame presented by Cyber Reason. It's a win in preseason game number 2 here tonight at Gillette Stadium. Patriots 20, the Carolina Panthers 10.
So who had the over-under of the Patriots game being less than the over-under of the Red Sox game? Anybody?
Which, by the way, for anybody who's complaining, none of us complaining about the length of game and the time it took to play. Are they in the 7th inning yet of the Red Sox
15 to 10
game?
in the 7th.
7th inning now, and they started at the same time the Patriots did.
And the Patriots game was kind of long tonight.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So, that was something. We're going to get to all of it. Just opening thoughts, Mike Dussault, before we get to our good, bad, and the injured.
I think it was more of the same of what we've seen this summer. The offense made a nice play, but otherwise, I mean, I'm talking the first-team offense, of course. Didn't really do much. Couldn't really string anything together in the 3 drives that they were together. I thought the defense was similar. Did the same thing they've been doing this summer. They were disruptive. They were, on P.J. Walker immediately. They got their hands on a bunch of balls. They forced a fumble. So I like all that stuff from the defense. Thought some young guys stepped up. But overall, I think I didn't really see much out of the offense tonight. I found that the headline disappointing. 2 3-and-outs to start the game was just yuck.
And I'm just going to echo before we go to Paul. That's the same thing. You want to see the Patriots come out offensively tonight and do something right away, and instead the 3-and-out to start the game. Then they doubled down on that, and whatever flow we were hoping for didn't really come in any. And in a game with very little meaningful time and very little in terms of the drives that you can look at or series of plays that would have some meaning. In those moments, the Patriots did not deliver. They got the win for what that's worth, but
nothing.
The times you really had the microscope on you and you're really looking at it, they came up short.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with Mike. I think that the offense and what's this one tonight? Mac was off. Those first couple of drives, I thought they had passes to complete. He had a slant that was behind Parker. Parker probably should have caught it, but it was a bad throw. He had one that he sailed high over Jacoby Myers. Just kind of looked unsettled. We're seeing some of the highlights now. Just looked a little unsettled early in the game. They were able to get the first down. I think he picked up a third down that was able to move the chains, and that seemed to settle him down. And then picked an absolutely perfect deep ball to Nelson Aguilar, which was really the highlight of the game, in my opinion, certainly offensively. But it was the one highlight of the game offensively, for the Patriots all night, and that led to the touchdown drive, 9-play drive, which you got to think Bill was like, all right, guys, I need you to get 15 to 20 plays. We can't be going 3-and-out. You guys going to be in,
Yeah,
and then they put together that 9-play touchdown drive. Ty Montgomery, a couple of plays there toward the end. He finishes it off with a short touchdown run and, shake some hands, put some baseball hats on, and get to the sideline, right?
That was it.
Yeah. So, Paul,
defensively, I thought they flashed, but that's all with a grain of salt based on who they played against.
When we get to the good, it was one of my first goods of the game, and one of the few. So I guess we can do that. But yeah, it was a night when we had our peepers peeled for the first team offense to see what they could get going, and I think you summed it up, Paul. Aside from the the long completion to Aguilar. And Mac Jones going, what was he, 4
for 8 for 61 yards.
And 45
on one. Now
45 on one pass to Aguilar.
Gorgeous play. And we've seen that a little bit. I would say we've seen it a little bit more frequently the last, 4 or 5 days that we got to watch. But what I liked about that is that's not a 50-50 ball. I'm not going to just throw the ball up and see if my guy can make a play for me. My guy's running down the sideline. He's covered by their guy, and I'm going to throw it in a spot where my guy can get it. That was offense, not fluky.
That was execution.
That's how you want to. Yeah. That's how you draw it up. That play was beautiful. And again, I know I've been saying this all summer so far. Nelson Aguilar's been their best receiver in camp.
Yep.
It's just tantalizing. They've had these moments, and not even, there have been some like this with Aguilar, but, even some of the contested catch with Parker, it's just, so you see these plays happen, so it's like, I know you guys have it in you, but it just seems like the in rhythm, drive starters, those kind of plays, just they don't really exist. It's hard for them to get a rhythm right now. It's hard for them. I haven't yet to see all summer for them to get in a rhythm and roll off play after play, and you feel like things are clicking. It's just it's so sporadic still.
All right, let's get to the good, the bad, and the injured. Here we go.
Now it's time for the good,
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
the bad,
Hey, what happened?
and the injured.
Nice.
You all right, guy?
The good, the bad, and the injured, brought to you by the good players, the bad players, and the injured players. We begin with Paul Perillo, who is always a beacon of sunshine, giving us his first good on the game.
I'm going to go with my first good. I'm going to go with Nelson Aguilar. I thought that he, the offense, as we said, was struggling a little bit. And he made, I think, the third down catch, too, that gave him the first down. And then, obviously, gets open deep and comes up with a big play down the sideline, 45 yards. You obviously didn't play a tremendous amount. I think the offense played about 15 plays. But I thought he gave them a lift when he was out there. Nelson Aguilar, continuing a strong summer.
I mean, I don't know how you'd say anything other than good. And as Deuce, you said, it's been their best receiver throughout camp here, and he showed it again tonight. Absolutely good. Before we go any further, let's bring in Josh Uche joining us now here in the Patriots Postgame Show, presented by Cyber Reason. Josh, congratulations. Big win, 20-10. You got to be happy about that.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely a great win for the team, coming together and just executing. It's a great feeling, and, we just got to build.
Josh, you guys have just been all over the offenses you played this summer. You got a sack, you picked up. You guys were just so disruptive, hands on balls, getting in the quarterback's face. What's the energy like right now on the defense where it just seems like all you guys are just kind of taking turns getting after the quarterback?
We're just hungry. We're just hungry, and we're trying to go and do what it is that we do best. And, however, whatever it takes to, help the team win, and that's what we're trying to do. So we're just hungry, that's what it comes down to. So, yes, sir.
Josh, early in the game, it looked like you were part of a package. I think Christian Barmore was coming in with you. Wise and Judon already out there. You guys put a lot of pressure, like Mike just said. Back-to-back sacks. Looked like you got the better of the rookie tackle, Aquanu. Can you sort of run us through that play and what you saw?
Yeah, the guys did a great job, putting pressure on the quarterback, collapsed in the pocket, and, I was just fortunate enough to finish. The middle push definitely prevented the quarterback from stepping up, and, just working the fundamentals that we work every day in practice, that Coach Covington, teaches us, and, just kind of, falling back on the fundamentals. That's kind of the result of that play. So.
Yeah, there were almost plays in succession you mentioned earlier, and Deuce did too, about you and Dietrich and Juwan all getting into the backfield and getting to the quarterback. I have to imagine you guys start feeding off each other, and you kind of feel that momentum when it's clicking for one of you. It seems like it's clicking for, all of you.
Yeah, we definitely, we all feed off each other's energy. D-Wise got the sack. I got one. Anthony got one. Perk got one. Mitchell got one. You just name it. Guys just feeding off each other. And, it's just a great group of guys, and we just continue to, learn from each other. So.
Josh, just want to ask you about Anthony real quick. You guys came in together. He missed all of last year. Now he's back, making an impact. What's it like for you to see him, coming back in after missing the year and making an impact here in the summer?
That's my man. He's right here next to me. You talked about it, and to see it come to fruition right now, and not being out there with my brother, it's just a great feeling, and it's like, we're just going to continue to build on it and continue to grow and get better each day. So.
Well, you guys certainly showed it tonight, and as we're talking about the game here, just starting the post game, we're going to be talking a lot about the defense tonight and praising you guys for another great effort here tonight. Thanks for the time, Josh. We appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you very much.
Josh.
There he goes. Josh Uche there.
You got to cheer up back there in that locker room.
I like it.
That was, I mean, as we're, going through the goods here, and we start off with, Paul started us off with Aguilar. I don't want to steal your thunder, Deuce, but I got to believe, defense is, among the first things you mark down in the good category tonight.
Yeah, for sure, Hardy. I'm going to go with Jawan Bentley. I just love what he's bringing right now. And, you had some turnover at that position. I just felt like he was all over the place right out of the gate, blowing up the screen, the tackle for loss. I just love what he's bringing to the defense right now. I don't know if he's going to be an every down guy, but I thought he kind of set the tone early on with some of his play. So I got Jawan Bentley on there first for me.
Yeah, I had him right at the top of my list.
I did. I had Bentley getting into the backfield on a play, and then as Josh just said, pretty much back to back with he and Dietrich Wise getting into the backfield, getting the sacks, and you do feel like that is coming together as a unit. These guys are feeding off each other, and they're feeling a little bit, which is great.
And I don't want to get too excited about the summer, and I've gone down that road many times in the past and been burned by it. But so you give up a little bit of a drive. The Panthers made some plays. They got in field goal range, and it's 1st and 10 from the 35.
And then it was
Bentley blows up a screen for a loss of 4, and then it's back-to-back sacks by Wise and Uche,
right?
Our guest that we just spoke to. And suddenly the ball's at midfield, and it's 4th and 30, and they're punting. You're not always going to force a 3-and-out. Sometimes the team's going to make plays. But then you got to find a way to make some plays and limit the scoring. And, that was good complementary defense.
Yep.
Well,
3 good plays in a row.
Yeah, those 3 good plays. But I even had down the opening drive, the run defense on the opening drive. I thought was real solid. You came out there. You saw who was playing quarterback for the Panthers here tonight, although I didn't at first. Paul had to – I'm like, who was in on the first drive? Who was it again?
P.J. Walker and Matt Corral.
Right.
The quarterbacks, and poor Matt Corral ended up getting hurt, had to come out of the game.
But you kind of know they're going to be running the ball anyway, and the defense was up for it, and I thought the run defense looked good on that opening Panthers drive. So as we're nitpicking our goods, I had that down as my first good. Paul, what else you want to
I had Uche also, with the sack, and we just talked about him. So I just thought that that pressure that they had, and I mentioned it to Josh when we spoke to him, it looked like it was Barmore and Uche coming in, and probably Godshaw and Guy coming out, and they just got after it. They made life really difficult. I mean, again, I know who was playing, so I'm not trying to make more out of it, but I thought that pressure package that they had was really effective throughout the game.
Yeah, and look, I think defensively is what you have to hang your hat on for this game tonight. There were some offensive moments that stand out. We mentioned one already in Aguilar, but I think most of these are going to focus in on the defense. Boss man Fred Kirsch joining us now.
What up?
Just in time for your favorite part of the entire post game, the good list.
Good list.
I mean, keep going.
Only the good half.
That's right.
It's all good.
It's all good, baby.
It's all good.
Was it all good tonight?
It was okay. I think the first.
Boy, that took a turn.
No, I think the first 2 drives. Well, I'm sure you guys will talk about it, but I think all the wide receivers, with the exception of Hammond, fared well at times. All the way down the list. I think a lot of people.
The wide receivers?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are clamoring for little Jordan Humphrey to make the team.
I would say that he fared well
in some capacity.
Yeah, I was about to put him on the good list.
I have him on my good list.
I have him on my good list
remarkable the connection he has with Zappi, and it's one of those weird things of a guy who's fighting for a roster spot and he's clicking with a young backup quarterback. Does that translate to that? But the special teams play he's doing everything he can. He's a big guy. He's kind of unique. So
yeah,
I like Lil Jordan. I think he's doing everything he can right now. Yeah. Sorry, Hardy. Were you put off by something?
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. I mean, in terms of the wide receivers as a whole, late in the game there were a couple of flashes, but if you're gonna pick one to put on the good list, I think it's Aguilar, and that's kind of where it stops in terms of a guy that you can just put across the board on the good list tonight.
I thought Trey Nixon had some good catches. I think Humphrey.
Tough game for Trey Nixon.
Trey Nixon's drop is
horrific.
You can't drop that
and allow the guy to undercut him on the pick.
In the end zone, you mean?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
that you hit him in the hands.
Yeah,
hell yeah. I mean, that's a bad drop.
You can't. Yeah. I'm sorry. I hate for one drop to undo it.
What were the numbers on for Zappi? And I know Mac was 500.
I can tell you. Zappi was 16 to 25 for 173. Mac was 4 of 8 for 61 yards. Yeah. So, yeah, They both took a sack.
Yeah.
So Bourne, Belichick was asked about Bourne and his whereabouts, and he just said he wasn't available. But then I guess later in the press conference he said he expects everybody to be available in Vegas next week except for Wilkerson. So we'll see if it's a situation with Bourne, and who knows? Like it could be anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Bourne and Trent Brown both, weren't out there tonight.
Yeah.
Deuce, who else you got on your good list tonight?
I put Montgomery down. I don't know right now.
I've got him down.
If I feel, yeah.
I tell you why I got him down. There were back-to-back runs. Obviously, he had the touchdown, but I had the offensive line and the job they did on his touchdown. That was as much a part of that good that I put him down for as I did for, he and the run itself.
Yeah.
I thought the line, did their job on that play.
I don't know if it's more about the body of work. I thought it was a little bit of a sample of what he's been doing this summer, but I think he's a good change of pace, and for some reason, he seems to make the most happen in the run game right now. There's not a lot going on there. Not that either of his runs. I thought the touchdown one was pretty tough and pretty hard-nosed, but I just think he's continuing to show that he's going to be a big part of this offense, and I wonder. When are we going to see it from Harris and Stevenson that they can get it going? Because both of them just continue to kind of look meh.
I have Montgomery on my good list, so
Okay. I think Montgomery's fine. I thought I was impressed by the run before the touchdown. It was like a little toss to the left
for the first down.
Yeah, and he cut back. He probably quote unquote shouldn't have gotten the first down. I thought he did a good job of breaking through an arm tackle and diving forward and set up first and goal from the 2. Yeah, I think that's a fine one. More defensive guys. We talked about the pressure. I thought Jonathan Jones had excellent deep coverage, and again, these guys weren't out there the whole game. So
that guy was 6'3" too.
Like Ty Montgomery for you. Now, I will say he clearly got away with a penalty on that, but I loved where he was in the coverage. He was right. The football guys will tell you he was in phase. He was right on his hip the whole way down the sideline. I think their deep coverage has been really good so far, and in a couple of these preseason games. So I had Jonathan Jones down with his deep coverage on that play. I thought that was really, really solid
height
coverage.
Advantage, too. That play had me looking at how tall was that receiver? 6'3".
He grabbed his arm.
Yeah. Oh, did he?
Oh, yeah.
A little bit.
We were kind of talking about it on the broadcast a little bit. We brushed that under the rug.
Fred, what else caught your eye tonight? What would you have your peepers peeled for? Who is popular in your ocular?
You have to take it with a grain of salt, because who were they going? But I think Wise flashed a couple times. He had some nice plays. Carl Davis had a couple nice plays when he came in right away. Trying to think. Somebody else up front caught my eye early. McGrone. I thought Tavai had a lot of reps. He played almost the whole game in and out.
Were you surprised how much Mac Wilson played?
A little bit.
And I was going to say,
he played pretty much the whole
Mac
game.
Wilson, he didn't have a lot of tackles, but he's got good speed.
I was going to bring him up.
He gets to things.
But I did say it to Evan because it felt like in those first few drives, and this is kind of the top group, Tavai seemed like the guy out there, but it seemed like they were kind of just in their base 3-4. So I guess I kind of get that, but I was surprised that Mac Wilson wasn't really involved in that, but I like him. He continues to just look really fast out there.
I didn't love him tonight. I didn't think he was bad. He
didn't make a lot of plays.
No, I just thought he's
in the area a lot.
He was an almost tonight.
Yeah,
he was flashing a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, who wasn't an almost? Who actually made the good list?
Well,
Paul?
I'm going to give a guy that Fred was really high on last week, Sean Wade. That's a nice pick. He comes off his zone coverage. He's down the field. He reads the play, comes up, and made an aggressive play on the ball.
Although I have to say, from my angle, the moment that ball left the quarterback's hand, I think it was Corral.
Yeah, me too.
I saw that's going to get picked.
Yeah, we're the same.
That's going to get picked.
It was almost like it was in the air too long for Wade.
Those two guys were throwing punts up all night.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a good job by him. They're in zone, and he recognized the play. He came off of his guy and came up and undercut the intended receiver. I thought that was a good play on the ball. Now, he shows up later, too, for not so good reasons. But I thought that was a really good play. Team got really hyped for that, too.
What else do we have on the good list?
That's about all I got.
I had J.J. Taylor. I thought you had a nice block in there that I think you got to give him credit for.
Excellent blitz pickup.
Listen, for his second preseason game, I think Zappe had a fine game. You know.
Yeah, I mean the pick six.
Yeah,
but he shows he can throw it.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, look, I had him good and bad. You know, I wanted to put him on the good list, and then immediately he would do something. So I totally.
But he also got hurt. He also got hurt by a lot of penalties that stalled drives. I thought, for a guy with no experience, I thought he did okay.
Yeah, I did too. I mean,
I don't have anything against him, but I don't.
No.
I thought he was better last week.
I think he made some throws. Definitely. I mean, with Lil Jordan, some of those, downfield, before the half, it was moving pretty well before they got the penalty. The moved
Somebody
back.
on the box says, "Does he remind you of Drew Brees?" I said, "No."
I don't know that he's going to be on anyone's good list, but no, Devin Asiasi, was
he played a lot too.
He played a lot, and could he be?
I think we're so starved for anything from him.
Well, just in terms of what's going on with Hunter Henry right now, and you're thinking it's like, oh, is this a guy that could be playing himself into some?
Who would you rather have, Asiasi or Little Jordan Humphrey?
That's a good debate.
That is good.
Were you listening to the broadcast tonight, Fred? By any chance?
I was.
Did you like when I when I made like a stanza and I come in with those
No, I like Paul made
comments?
the point that your third tight end is usually more of a blocking type, and you know.
But those, I just kind of brought up Humphrey for Mike and I have been talking about this for a couple of weeks. Hardy, he's not really fast. Little Jordan Humphrey, he's a 6'4" guy, like 225, 230. Probably not really big enough to be a tight end, but they use him kind of as a tight end. Like all of his catches almost. Or between the numbers, down the seam, and he's been effective doing that. I wonder if maybe he's sort of in that battle as a big slot type that can give you that kind of stuff. I still think Asiasi's the third tight end. And did you say that he was, or Hardy, which one of you guys said good list for him?
I thought Humphrey, I did.
I said I don't know.
Humphrey's definitely on the good list. That special teams play alone puts him on the good list.
The special team play was fantastic. I said Asiasi. I don't know if I want him on the good list, but is he showing enough to?
Asiasi made some plays. Yeah. And Mike and I have been like, Hunter Henry's out. You're getting more opportunities. You got to take advantage of him. And he catches a touchdown late in the 2-minute drill the other day in the joint practices, but he also had a ball knocked out of his hands that we were like, you can't afford those. Tonight, every time the ball was thrown his way, he looked fluid and comfortable catching it.
Speaking of the broadcast, Paul, Bob and Zoe didn't know it was a touchdown until the extra point, that last play.
Yeah, because they
called
James
it a safety.
Well, they did originally put a safety up on the board.
Yeah, and they were going with the safety until the guy lined up to kick the extra point, and Bob goes, I think that was a touchdown.
Oh, wow.
They missed the Aguilar bomb too, didn't they? Were they on Burton with James White?
Burton was talking, but we didn't miss it. This is clearly they thought it was a safety. They showed it.
It's preseason for Bob and Scott too.
It's preseason for Belichick calling timeouts. 15 seconds left in the half, so he could punt on 4th and 100.
That didn't make sense unless he just wanted to make sure he had the right team.
I think he thought. Now, I'll guarantee you. They'll tell you that they wanted to work on plus 50 punting. I'll guarantee you. But I'll tell you that he thought it was third down because that penalty on Ferentz was ruled a post-play penalty.
Yeah.
So the down counted.
And that's what happens when you're paying attention to too many things.
And selfishly, whenever you're calling timeout.
Fred willing to take it to places that I wasn't.
No, right? If you're thinking about what's the next offensive play or whatever.
Sure. Sure. And selfishly, when you're calling timeout at all in a preseason game, I'm just looking at my watch saying, what are we doing?
Well,
what are we doing?
You want to practice your 2-minute, too.
I thought my boy Bledsoe had a nice hit to cause that fumble on the catch. Nice textbook helmet on the ball.
Right on the ball.
Late add to the good list.
Yeah.
All right.
I just think overall the speed on defense looked really good.
I agree, Freddie.
Yeah.
They're faster.
It's good. It's good. It's a good way to put a bow on the good list. Now we go to the bad list.
Coming together, Fred.
Now we go to the bad list, and for that we go to the most negative guy in the room.
We're going to separate now because he won't have any.
Okay, the most negative guy in the room, of course, Mike Dussault. First on the bad list, Deuce.
Where to start? I'm gonna start with easy, just a sloppy play. And there's another week of 11 penalties, 12 penalties last week. I mean, we can just run down through each specific one. But I think it's sloppy and it doesn't look. I don't want to say well coordinated. That's a loaded word right now with coordination. But I just they're killing themselves with the same kind of mistakes that we've seen in the last couple of years. Pre-snap penalties, bad timing, losing their cool, that kind of stuff. it's not going to allow them to get better if they keep doing these things and putting themselves behind the 8 ball with all these self-inflicted mistakes. So for me, it starts there with just the sloppiness that you did to yourself with all the penalties.
Paul, you got one?
Mac.
Yeah.
I just don't. The bomb I talked about at length right off the top of the show was the best play by far of the night, and it was an absolutely perfect throw. So I said that. I'm not ignoring, but he threw 8 passes and he had one perfect one. I thought he missed Parker on the slant. I thought he overshot Myers. Those are plays, those are pitching catches. Those are supposed to be drive starting kind of plays. I just thought he was a little off tonight and unsettled.
And the one on Myers, not only was it high, but had it been lower, it was still late. It was still late. He was very indecisive.
Well, it takes a long time to get there.
It was
on that ball.
Yeah, he was very indecisive in the first 2 drives.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to go chronologically on these lists sometimes. And, that opening drive, it's like we're going to see the first team offense. We're going to get our first real look at it. What's that first pass going to look like? It's a bad pass to Devontae Parker that still should have caught it.
Oh,
he
should have had it.
It's bad.
He could have had it. I'm not saying he should have had it. He could have had it. It was a bad pass.
It was a bad pass. And, and again, this is what we're starved for. Some flow and some rhythm and some sign that the offense is going to work. And your first opportunity to really show it to us, you get that. And that's the first thing I marked down. It's like, well, this is bad. This is bad.
Yeah.
Right away, it's bad.
It was almost like Mac was still not at 100% speed. And it took him couple drives to realize, oh, okay, we're playing for real here?
Yeah.
These are live. Live pressure.
Might be right.
It just all kind of looks the same. I mean, I
think
you'd like to see some progress, but it's just this is what it's been.
Yeah, my key was I wanted to see some rhythm established on offense, and I don't really felt like the touchdown drive was terrific, 9-play drive, but 45 of it came in one play.
Right.
It wasn't like they had like a good sequence of plays to move down the field. And then 2 3-and-outs, obviously not ideal.
Yeah.
Not panic central or anything like that. But I don't think it was probably the start that Bill was hoping for.
The line was shaky to start.
Yeah, and you had no Wynn, no Brown.
Yeah.
You had a Wenyu kicked out to tackle.
You had Ferentz in there.
And I thought Ferentz really struggled tonight. He's on my bad list.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He gives up a bad sack, I thought, on the first drive where he wasn't really competitive. And then it's a terrible penalty. Like we talked a lot about, this is what the undisciplined teams do with the joint practice fighting. And a lot of us in Boston here have been sort of pointing the finger at Carolina for being more responsible for the fights. That was a cheap shot.
Well,
that was a bad play.
On the replay, it didn't look as bad.
I saw it live.
Fitzy and Hart came up after, and they said, "What did you think about that play by Ferentz?" I'm like, "It was a cheap shot." It's like, no, they hit the guy that was causing trouble in practice. That was great.
Well, you can't do that.
Well, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Now it's even worse in my mind. I didn't know it was 27 that got hit then, Kenny Robinson.
Yeah. Yes, but and it wasn't as bad on the replay. It wasn't a full blown. It was kind of like a shoulder to shoulder. But you can't do it. It was late. It was
way
dirty.
late.
You can't do it.
And I think 27, he did his own embellishment.
I don't think he knew
bit.
it was coming.
But you should have seen Fitzy and Hart. Taking beers. They were giving away 4 packs of beer in the press box.
Oh, by the way, what happened to my beer? Did Andy get my beer?
I gave it to Andy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You don't drink IPA, do you?
I wouldn't.
No, it's.
I was just Mike had promised he was going to bring it down. So.
But they're going around.
It's okay.
I
not the first promise he's broken.
I call them beer pigeons. They were just going around and taking as much beer as they could.
That's kind of
serious.
They were really taking
I'm not
the
kidding.
beer.
I'm not kidding.
Well,
that's just
Fitzy's sleeping in my house tonight,
so
I'll check it out, see how many he got.
See if he can bring one of those big JetBlue tickets. Those are fun. I mean, I don't know if you can actually accept. Just giving away the big big thing. You guys probably don't get to see it. You don't get to see the big video.
I can't see anything.
All right, Fred.
Yeah.
Give me a bad. Give me a bad that hasn't been mentioned yet.
I agree. Well, that hasn't been mentioned yet.
That's
I
right.
agreed with Paul on Mac.
He did.
Yeah.
I was stunned.
Yeah.
That's all he has. All right, so I have
listen,
another.
12 men in the huddle on offense.
That's
the sloppiness.
When
I
Mike talked
agree
about
with
the
you.
penalties, again, last week they didn't have enough guys on the field on defense, or too many on the field on defense. This week they had too many in the huddle.
Yeah.
I
think it was Thornton's fault. I think
it looked that way.
Let me throw one out here.
And by the way, Thornton.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. The drops, the fourth quarter drops. Trey Nixon, Josh Hammond, back to back. It's like
I had them both on my list.
I don't know how you make it to this level. And Hammond's, I thought, was especially egregious, where it's like, okay, you're trying to make the team. I get it. You're a bubble guy. I get it. You have to be so good to make it to this level where you're considered to be a bubble guy in the NFL. How you don't catch that ball in that moment. And I understand the pressure and all that stuff, but you've been in these moments before.
Yeah,
this is not your first time out there.
Two bad ones.
Yeah, it's just to me, it's remarkable that could happen
we-
multiple
I don't
times
know.
to multiple guys on the same night.
Back in production, I don't know if they've got the Trey Nixon drop in the touch in the end zone queued up. I'd like to see that again because the other guy did have an arm bar on him, because he only was able to raise one hand at first. Live, it looked, he should have caught that. But when you look at it closely, the defender had his hands all over.
He did the same thing that I commented on Thornton on the deep ball last week. He let the ball come to him instead of putting his hands up and catching it.
Yeah. I got a pretty good look at the replay, and I thought the same thing that you did, Fred. And upon further review, he still should have caught it.
Still should have had it?
And
Okay.
it wasn't – it was contested. He still should have caught it.
And he actually, I thought, initiated the contact by pushing – and I don't think it was a penalty on anybody.
Right.
But he made the first contact with the arm bar out. And then the guy sort of tried to fight through that, and that's when they got tangled. But I think you're right, Hardy. I think the ball ended up getting to his body, and I thought it was a very catchable pass.
In the breadbasket.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like when you're fighting for a roster spot, you can't afford to lose opportunities. Correct. And I think probably as damaging is the pick. Like he ran kind of a lazy out, didn't really come back, and I didn't think he came back and fought to break up the pick for his quarterback. Bad play by Zappi. I mean, it's on him, not Trey Nixon. But I think those plays, not good.
No, not good. What else you got there, Deuce?
I was going to throw Marcus Jones on there, unfortunately. I was really looking forward to watching him return a couple punts, and both of them, or I think it was two of them, were both an adventure.
Well, Sean Wade absolutely
Wade ran
wiped
into
him
him.
out
The other
on the
one, he
first.
bobbled it and almost lost it.
That was all, my boy.
rookie moment for him. His first game action, but that's just doing push-ups on the sideline. Never a good thing.
So I made the comment about Ferentz and like the chippiness that you had, and were we going to see any of it? And I thought that was an example. Barmore's roughing the passer was cheap.
I didn't see it.
It was a late hit.
It was really late.
Yeah,
and really unnecessary.
It was dumb. Dumb.
So I had him on the bad list just for that one play. Not that he played bad in the game, but that's
the kind of play in a real game that can really hurt you.
Yeah. Anything else specifically we want to get to on the bad list here tonight?
I just was kind of grossed out that they were 2 for 12 on third down. I mean, it's just I think that's just overall. They had no clutch. They had no ability to make plays when it counted. I mean, they
did
made
you
the
think
one play.
they should have kept Mack in for another series at least?
I mean, the only thing I would consider was just the fact that the offensive line was banged up. I took that a little bit into consideration, but I don't know. I mean, we're going into one more week here. You're gonna have 2 joint practices and one more preseason game. I've learned nothing about this offense from the first day we saw them. They've made a couple plays, but
from the jump tonight, I wanted to see a full half. I wanted to see plenty of Mac, and at the end of it, Fred, I kind of felt glad they were putting me and him out of our misery. But seriously, it wasn't working. It wasn't clicking.
Yeah, I didn't need to see. I called for 15 or 20 plays. I think they had 15.
Yeah, it was 3, 3, and 10, so I think it was 16. Yeah.
All right. Anything else, boys, before we get to the injured?
Yeah, no, but that might be one of the worst parts of the whole game.
So, I mean, I had a couple of individual things. I think Kevin Harris flashes a little. I don't see really a whole lot from Pierre Strong. Like, just in those 2 rookie running backs, not really the time. They don't belong on the good or bad list. Just as an observation. Kendrick Bourne, is that worth, talking about as, a bad,
Yeah,
whether I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a pattern now this summer. He hasn't had a good summer.
It's one of those things too where I feel like the media, we start to get a little bit of a beat on it. The last practice maybe was when we first really started talking about, is this a thing with Bourne? Is he running with the 2s? And then it kind of gets confirmed that something might be going on. Maybe not though. Of course, you got to disclaim. I mean, the guy could have COVID or whatever. But
and that's what I was wondering because I don't know because I can't see the whole sideline. Greg Bedard before the game said he didn't see Billy Yates on the sideline. and he's the assistant offensive line coach. Now, Trent Brown's one of the guys who's not dressed tonight that we don't know about any injury. So my immediate reaction is one of those guys has COVID and the other guy was like a close or whatever, something like that. And then you're like, well, Bourne and Trent Brown have no injuries that we're aware of. I wonder if maybe it's something like that.
I heard that Bourne was getting a timeout.
I mean, based on what we've seen, it doesn't seem like a leap to speculate that.
Like you're going Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, he'd be fine for practices. That would be his 5 days. So who knows?
We'll never know.
That's true.
That is true.
Was it COVID or was he benched?
Yeah.
Welcome to 2022.
That's right. What do you got for the injuries there, Deuce?
Man, what a buzzkill this one was.
Potentially big one.
Big one. Tyquan Thornton and shoulder announced out late in the game when I didn't even think he would probably be playing anyway, but I still just feel like that's concerning that they would rule somebody out.
Well, hopefully it's just a precaution.
But
and he was ruled out because it was a preseason.
Yeah, we're not bringing him back yet.
But on the play, I just felt like it was it showed a rookie who doesn't have the savvy to get down and live to fight another day. Don't run back into the teeth of the defense.
Is that when he got hurt?
Brandon Cooks.
Yeah,
he got 4 different guys landing on him. I mean, he got smoked. I love that he's trying to pick up some extra yards, but there's just a fine line between picking up some extra yards and putting yourself in harm's way when you're running back into the teeth of the defense and you're going to get smoked, and he got smoked.
Which, by the way, Mac had one of those plays tonight where he went down a little bit late. I'm like, hey, easy. Yeah, well, I appreciate you trying to get the extra 2 yards there. Not necessary.
Yeah, it's a buzzkill. Yeah.
Deuce.
What? Tell me.
Belichick actually said about little Jordan Humphrey, he's tight endish. He's a big target.
I love it.
Deuce.
There you go. We're on it. We're right on it.
We've arrived.
We get the pulse of the.
We've arrived, young lad.
Congratulations to you both.
He's just tall. I don't know.
Kind of tall. Strong arm.
Any other injuries that we need to bring up?
I was the only one I saw. The
That was the
Panthers had a
only one
bunch.
I
It seemed like the Panthers had a bunch, but the Thornton one is just such a buzzkill.
Cam Irving, did he ever come back in the game? That looked serious.
I thought he did. I thought he did come
good,
back.
good.
I saw
That
somebody
looked
tweet
serious.
that he had come back in.
Yeah, I didn't see one Patriot player down.
No.
No, I can't remember one either.
I mean, and I held my breath though when Thornton went down because it looked like that didn't look.
So did he come up like?
I didn't notice him coming up gimpy at all.
Because I think
but
he stayed in the game at that
yeah.
point.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a little.
He did
tweak,
run a
hopefully.
great, and I didn't get to see it, but as a play was happening live, Zoe lost it.
Yeah.
Like he ran. I think the first play that Hoyer was in, he ended up throwing it somewhere else, and he said that Thornton made a really good route and got open deep. Could have had a big play.
Yeah. It's tough. I think that they're a different team when he's on the field. I think that's a whole different dynamic, and you saw Aguilar's ability to get downfield. I just wonder if with what they're trying to roll out there, which is probably going to be Parker, Aguilar, and Myers, if that setup has enough speed and dynamic ability to really get this offense into gear. I don't know. There's still a part of me that thinks that you got to lean more into making Aguilar and Thornton the main guys.
Let's go to the phones, 855-PATS-500. Emails to webradio@patriots.com. We begin with Cousin Patty and Agawam. Pat, what's going on?
I don't have a Cousin Patty.
What's going on, guys?
Hey.
Hey, buddy.
Just to sort of rehash what I said. First off, Jordan Humphrey's making this team. Just based on the special teams play alone, he's making the team.
Okay.
And plus, Belichick has said in the past, do what you can, make the most of your opportunity. He had, from my count, he had 4 catches, 2 of them. He was covered. He was getting mugged, made him. And the other 2, he just completely separated. But just to repeat what I said earlier, like if they don't shore up this offensive line, this is going to be a long year.
Yeah.
And I believe in Mac, but if they can't keep him protected, I'm worried.
Yeah, unlike Paul, I do believe the offensive line is important. And I agree. They've got to get it.
Well, I think it's especially important with the quarterback that you have.
With any quarterback.
No, because
you guys are putting yourself out there.
Guys that can move go to the Super Bowl without great offensive lines. Guys that are kind of need the pocket, and he said it Wednesday. He if I have room to step into my throws and don't have bodies around my feet, I can make the throws, which would put him in a category with 31 other starting quarterbacks in the league. I think it's really important for him.
Yeah.
I think it's really important for him that he needs a clean pocket, because when he moves around, it's not that throw that you're talking about, Freddie, with Myers, the one you said was high, but it was late anyway. It was late because he was moving when he threw it, and he doesn't have the arm strength to get it there.
Pat, thanks for the call, buddy. We appreciate it.
Got it.
All right, let's go to Mark here in Manchester, England. Mark, thanks for holding. You're on the Patriots postgame show. What's up?
Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Excellent.
One thing I was just
like
going to
5
say,
in the morning
I did see Paul on telly, and he was doing his Mac Jones breathing exercises before he actually did his analysis. That was pretty impressive, so well done on that, Paul.
Okay, thanks.
He is one of my favourite analysts. He really knows his stuff. You basically answered a lot of my questions. Just one confirmation. Do you guys think that Jordan does make this team or not? And finally, I'll take it off here.
I'm going to say yes.
Claire has got to be pretty happy that Assy actually makes some plays there. She loves the tight end. So
she does.
Thanks very much for all you do.
She loves those tight ends.
I'm here to say he makes it.
I need to know more about the status of the wide receivers. Like, is Bourne hurt in the doghouse?
Yeah.
What's the deal there? Is Tyquan Thornton hurt? I think if those 5 guys are all healthy and not in trouble in any way, I think Humphrey.
I think they cut him and they
we'll
get him
cut.
on the practice squad.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Okay. 4 a.m. in Manchester. I mean, that's so
dedication.
late it's early.
That's dedication.
Yeah, but he was up watching
These
the
are our
game.
people.
That game.
How about that?
I mean, not just a game, that game.
Like, he's in the fourth. Like, he not only watched through the fourth quarter and all that, which I came down like 5 minutes left. I'm like, I got the gist of it. But then he waited an hour to talk to us about it.
Like, I walked into the
Good for
studio
you.
and you were here, and I was kind of stunned. I was like, wow.
I just didn't want to get caught in the writer elevator where it's 200 people packed.
Yeah, I was getting the stink eye because they were trying to get in and set up the post game press conference. I'm supposed to be out by the 5-minute mark on home games, and it's like I can't just leave. I need them to like tell me to go because just in case they go to me, and they're like looking, they're waiting to get set up, and like when you have something like that to do, you just want to get it done, right?
Right.
And everybody's looking at me. I was like,
Sure.
I'm sorry.
I guess on Game Pass, people that were watching, they could hear the off-screen banter between you and like Fran and.
Oh, and Bob and
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean that's fine. Like, a lot of that is just we're talking about what we're going to talk in the next segment.
Right. David in New York. What's up, David?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
Sweet.
Obviously a huge win here today.
Yep. Super Bowl.
Big impact. But anyways, I wanted to kind of touch on like I feel like this has been an issue since last year, maybe a little bit before, but I know it's preseason right now, but the dropped interceptions are really kind of bugging me right now. And you can't get them all, but man, it's just
certainly could have gotten that one.
Well, Jack Jones has to. Yeah, he has to catch that.
Yeah, and as a rule, I'm not as upset about dropped interceptions because if guys were better at catching balls, they'd be receivers. If for the most part, if they're playing those positions.
But to David's point,
one,
on this team, they don't have the margin. If they have a chance for a turnover, they've got to take it.
I mean, that was an easy pick.
Yes, of course.
He did a great job of running that route for the receiver. He was in better position. Karen Garigian, real quick, on Twitter. Per source, Patriots tackle Trent Brown isn't injured. He was given the night off.
Oh. Maybe he's filming The Masked Singer.
Protect the franchise.
What do we think about that?
So night off for a lot of people means you still dress, but you don't play. But for him, you don't have to even show up.
Yeah, I'm not buying it for that very reason. Freddie's been around. He knows. Bill wants you dressed.
Now, I could be wrong, but in the second half, I don't think McCaffrey and Mayfield were even out on the bench.
I saw Mayfield come out late, like by himself.
Well, they had a lot of guys not even dressed.
Yeah.
No,
but McCaffrey
that's why they got the penalty.
McCaffrey dressed.
I mean,
he was in on the warm-ups. He was running plays during warm-ups.
Yeah, maybe a lot of those guys took their equipment off at halftime.
I think so.
You might be right.
I don't know. Just so many guys down there not in uniform on the sideline.
Bill did that one year, and I don't think he liked.
It was a real bad look.
Yeah, he didn't like the comportment. I think
when you're out of
uniform,
you act differently.
I think you're right. Yeah, absolutely.
You don't get to put your hands on your shoulders.
Right.
Like
You were late. You missed Josh Uche. He joined us earlier.
Oh.
Okay. And what I should have said as soon as Josh Uche hung up and we got done with our little chin wag with him was a big thank you to our sponsor, Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider and laptop of the NFL and the New England Patriots. It provides players and coaches with the tools to succeed both on and off the field. Check out the powerful Surface Pro 8, combining the power of a laptop with the flexibility of a tablet at surface.com. More of the Patriots Postgame show coming up right after this.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Defending against cyber attacks requires seeing in the dark, understanding and ending every threat to your organization on computers, mobile, and the cloud. It takes Cyber Reason. End cyber attacks from endpoints to everywhere.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including Six String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith, a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment, day in and day out, to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
I hate that.
Now, okay, so we're off to a bad start, according to Paul.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
And we're back. Patriots postgame show presented by Cyber Reason. Big win for the Patriots tonight, 20-10 over the Carolina Panthers after a week of joint practices. Before we get to Bob, who's in the hot tub, sexy. Fred, overall, the chippiness this week, training camp, we talked about it at length in the pregame show. You take anything good out of it, or did you just think that was a bad look?
No, bad look all around.
Okay.
Yeah, non-productive, just guys being immature. Yeah.
Both sides.
Both sides.
Yep,
Yeah.
I agree with you. All right, now we go to Bob.
Mostly Panthers, though.
There it is.
I would largely agree with that. Like, the standing over thing on Wednesday was really, I can understand why the Patriots didn't like that.
Yeah, if Matthew Slater is getting involved, then Yeah.
Slater was legitimately upset about it, which you don't see all that often. All right, Bob.
Yep.
Are you actually in the hot tub? Are the jets on or off? The jets are off. I can tell the jets are
off. So
all jets are off.
You can hear me all well and proper.
Okay, good.
Is it a jacuzzi brand?
It's a thermospa, but I don't want to do any product placement. But it's it's a nice hot tub.
Nice.
I prefer Sundance, but go ahead.
Seating for 5?
Yeah, it's a 5-seater.
Nice.
Got to have that.
Nice.
Are you a swinger?
Well, I don't want to go that far.
All right. Okay. All right.
Are you nude?
The wife might be listening.
Don't.
That's
Please.
it. So, anyways, I got 2 thoughts on the linebackers. So, is it premature to say that we kind of made out better in the Chase Winovich, Mac Wilson deal there?
Yes.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I think he played late.
see.
I mean, I'm curious how big Matt Wilson's role is going to be. I'd love it to be big, but he wasn't like at that top line, like get him right out there right away. So
I mean, isn't this
we'll
the
see.
time of year that everybody kind of fell in love with Chase Winovich in the first place, with the hair,
Yep,
and
right.
coming off the edge and sacking the quarterback?
All really popping in preseason
Right.
games. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now Mac Wilson can run. He got himself in the throwing lane tonight, knocked a pass down. He made some plays.
Yeah.
But
Jennings did some things late, but it was late.
I think Jennings is making a push though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
And then Cam McGrone, if you're a realtor and he comes to you, you're going to tell him to buy, rent, or maybe football ought to just be a hobby for you?
I'll tell you, he had one nice play from his position across the field. It was a run to the edge, and he shot through the edge and made the play for like a 1-yard gain. Real good speed, nice play. First time I've ever seen him make a play.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
you made it like
That's not good.
that's what they make fun of me for that.
No, I've never.
First time I ever saw him make a
no,
play.
he's never because hasn't been on the field enough.
I missed
It's
that
the
play,
first
so
play I've
I'm-
ever seen him make.
I still haven't seen him make a play.
No, this was a nice one. Go back. Go
I
back.
know the play you're talking about because we had a over/under on the amount of tackles he had, and I was keeping track, and that was one I had.
It was a real nice play, nice speed, real sure tackle. Came from distance and limited it to a 1-yard run. It was really good.
All right, Bob.
Right.
Appreciate it. All right.
Get
All
back
right,
in
all
that
right.
5-seater.
Chase Winovich, hot tub guy, but saltwater. He's a saltwater hot tub guy. I've got him pegged as being a guy who would be into
this
the
is
relaxation, but he
hard
doesn't want all the chemicals.
Yeah.
He's not putting the shock
Well,
oxidizer.
especially with the
or
blonde
chlorine.
hair, it might turn it a different color.
You never know. You got to be careful.
There you go.
We got some emails here. We're going to hear from Coach Belichick here in a few minutes, but Ryan in Oceanside, California said, I never really had any opinions on Humphrey before tonight, but this game made me a genuine believer, really hoping he can make the team. Also, in any case, any of you traveling to Vegas next week, I just spent the last 4 days there, and it was regularly over 100 degrees, so make sure to travel prepared for the heat. That's
Hydrate.
Ryan.
Deuce, hydrate. I don't want to lose you,
It
buddy.
makes
Stay
packing
inside.
easy. It makes packing easy. There's no sweatshirts. There's no sweatpants. There's no.
Pimpin' ain't
it's
easy.
just-
And-
it's
and
I don't want to
shorts
lose you,
and
buddy.
shirts. I
Make
know.
sure you hydrate.
Don't worry. You know
And
me.
Hardy, I didn't know if you know, but the winds there are Santa Fe winds, so they're hot. So you don't even get any relief from the breeze. It's a hot breeze.
Is that like the
Yeah.
Santa Anas? Is that the
Santa
same?
Ana winds.
Oh, okay.
Santa
I
Ana,
got
not
you.
Santa
I got
Fe.
you.
Santa Ana.
I didn't know.
Because
Maybe
Santa Fe is delightful.
it's New Mexico.
Yeah.
Santa Ana
Maybe
winds.
there's breezes there.
Just go with it.
The high desert.
Just go with it.
And you guys have all been there.
It's a hot wind.
You know what it's like, but it's, I don't know if you've ever been there in August.
I have.
Okay, so
It's
dry
too
heat,
hot to be outside at 2 o'clock in the morning was my takeaway.
Right. You know, a dry heat also like an oven.
Yeah.
An oven is also a dry heat.
Right, and not a place that I want to spend any significant time.
Well,
But you love the
My
heat,
oven.
Paul. You love the heat.
I do love the
But
heat,
not
but
the-
but
not too much?
but a $110 I think is different than like it was 96 in Boston.
You're going to step
you know?
outside one of these nights. You're going to
No.
be out, well after midnight. You're going to step out onto the sidewalk, and you're going to be amazed because it's still going to be 105 degrees.
Right. But you're just in an alternate reality. You're in, like, most of the time you're in a casino. It's air conditioned. It's cold. You're, like, just living life, loving things. And
Right.
then you're like, I'm going to go to this other casino. You step outside, and then, it's like an oven.
Yeah.
As you said.
Oppressive.
What was that again?
Too hot. It's like Marvin Gaye.
It's too hot in hot.
Just like an oven.
But
Kind
you
of
still,
wondered, why am I so hot?
you still have to go to Roberto's Taco Shop. You have to.
You're pumping it up. I could use some good Mexican food. I miss it. That's one of the things I miss most about the Southwest.
Well, that's a must visit.
Taco Bell doesn't do it for you?
No. That does the diarrhea for me, but not the.
At the very least, go to Del Taco. That's just a delightful menu.
I went to Del Taco once, and this is a true story.
Yeah.
In L.A., right in Westchester near LAX, went to Del Taco. Swear to God, a toenail in my nachos. A toenail.
Oh, that would gross me
I'm never
out.
going back again. Like
How do you know it was a toenail?
It was a clipped toenail. Like you clip your toenails.
Well, it could be a big thumbnail.
Perhaps, but it was big enough. I think it was a toenail, and I never went back to Del Taco again.
Wow.
So that's my Del Taco story.
I have to say that if that happened to me, that would be enough to keep me away from that place for life. Unless it was like a really,
it looked
really
purpose.
good.
It looked like they did it on purpose.
It would have to be a really, really good place for me to go back.
You won't find that at Roberto's. Classic. Hi, crew, says Matt from Connecticut. Is there any cause for concern that the first-team offense hasn't gotten enough reps in the preseason game so far? 8 attempts for Mack, 3 carries for Harris, 2 for Stevenson for their preseason totals. Will they even play next week? This is a good question I want to get into. I don't know. I guess if joint practices mean more anyway, then the game action isn't that important. Just worried a little bit. That's Matt in Connecticut. All right, so aside from their rep totals, what is next week's game? If game 1, Fred, which I came around on, if game 1 is the new game 4, what is game 3? Is it still game 3?
No, game 3 is another game 2.
So you have a game 4 and 2 game 2s.
Yes.
See, here's where I really, really want to argue. But I have absolutely no idea what to expect.
Does the math add up? Hold on. 1 plus 2, 3 and 3, 6, 10.
I can't translate the math of what the preseason is now. I hope they play into the second half. I hope Mac Jones plays into the second half.
Why exactly?
Because I just think they need it. Like they just look terrible. I mean, is not playing going to help them? Like that's helpful. Like I just think if anything's going to be helpful, it's going to be to play.
Maybe I'm looking at this too simplistically, but I feel like Deuce does right now. I think Bailey Zappi is as prepared for
right. That's what I was thinking.
Regular season week 1 is Mac Jones.
There's any value in this, I know I'm wrong. I know obviously all the coaches know what they're doing. I don't know what you get out of this stuff.
Well, listen, I know. Like we've said, these joint practices are very important, and Bill might even value them more than the game. But you're not tackling in joint practice, and especially the quarterback, they can't hit you. So that changes your mindset. And that's why I said in the beginning of this game, it looked like Mac was still in red shirt mode. And it took a couple series before we realized, they're really coming after me. I gotta think quick here.
Yeah.
See, you're using that as the reason why he looks slow. I think it's just as plausible that he looks slow as that he's still uncomfortable with this offense and he's moving slower because he can't react as quickly as he was last year.
I'm not buying that. Like, what's so different about when he drops back to pass from last year?
Well, I don't know, but there are some things that are different. And he has to, some of those stretch and they pull it back and he's moving.
Yeah,
I don't think those
bootlegs and stuff.
I don't think that's his skill set.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like your point, Paul, and I
feel
like
the RPO better for him.
Yeah, and I was kind of arguing that in my head of does this really mean anything? Can we learn anything? But it just has been. I'm going to be so surprised if they come out in week 1 and look pretty good because I just have never seen it. Like literally have never seen a consistent period where they're just really on today. Great day. I mean, maybe the first day of joint practices this week was pretty good, but it still didn't feel like anything over the top.
But let's think about the offense as a whole. If Mac had been accurate to start, the offense would have looked fine. It wasn't like guys were, not on the same page or the ball was being thrown in the ground or any of that. It's just that Mac wasn't accurate to begin with.
So it's not a problem of him looking slow because there were times when Brady looked like he was moving
But I think part of his
motion.
inaccuracy comes from indecisiveness. It's like the guy throwing a first base, the pitcher throwing a first base, and he's thinking about it, and he can't throw an accurate.
Well, then that's the offense. It's not the speed of the defense coming at him.
It's Mac. It's Mac.
So Mac is the problem.
It was the first 2 series. It was.
Well, he didn't play well, but
I don't think Mac's that good.
There you go. There you have it.
Just waiting for
and there it is. Well, maybe Bill Belichick feels the same way. I'm sure he was asked about the play of his starting quarterback tonight. Let's see what the head coach had to say as the game wrapped up here. It was a win. You'd never know.
If he was accurate, the offense would have looked fine.
You'd never know from listening to Fred Kirsch, but the Patriots did get the win tonight, 20-10. So,
Fred's right, though. Like
Fred's right about what?
If he puts the slant on Parker, or
hits Myers.
A foot lower than he threw it, I don't think you're looking at the offense's struggle tonight.
Okay, but my point is this. Fred is saying that Mac Jones looks slow, like he wasn't ready for game speed.
He was indecisive, yeah. His throws were off.
So he was thrown off by the fact that he was seeing real game action tonight.
That's just a speculation. I don't know that for sure.
I will take what Mac has said in that he's thrown off and he's not feeling this offense, and maybe he's not feeling it because
what's
it's new.
to feel? It's a slant. What's to feel about a slant?
That play, Fred's right.
Yeah,
I think
play
there are
that they threw last week to Parker.
I think there are elements of the passing game that are every bit the same as that he's always done. And I think that was one play. That was a quick, there was no reads on that. I'm just going to get the ball out quick, and I'm going to throw a slant to Devontae Parker, and he put it on his back hip.
And remember, the third drive, he was getting the ball and immediately getting rid of it. He almost didn't even have a good grip on it sometimes.
And that's why I feel like he needs to play a bunch. Like I just know, like for me,
I'm not going to be mad if he plays. I'm just wondering how much you get out of it.
I wonder how much you're getting out of joint practices and how they really feel about it.
Who knows?
And, but I feel like from my perspective as like a hockey player, like I needed to play to get my hands back. I couldn't, I needed to get out there and do it. And to Fred's point, if he's not sharp, maybe he just needs to play a little more.
Listen, I'm all for more reps.
Well, let's not get him lit up.
No, I don't want
like he did tonight in the first drive.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't want that either, but I think there is something to be said for getting out there. And I'm with you. I don't know what value there is in the joint practices. Matthew Slater didn't seem to think too highly of it this
when you're
week,
fighting every other play, there is no value.
But I think when they were playing, in the offense and defense, I think you're scripting plays, you're getting situations that you want, you're calling for certain looks, blitzes, whatnot. You're predetermining this with the other coach that you can't do in a game. Like I don't know. Like what I thought tonight, and I might be totally wrong on this, but when they had that fumble on the Bledsoe play and they overturned it and replayed, and the Patriots took over in the red zone or close to the red zone, and that's when he went from Hoyer to Zappi.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that wasn't the plan. That Hoyer,
It's weird. Hoyer got one.
Like if they had just punted and then it was a regular drive, maybe it would have been Hoyer. But I think that he wanted to see
quick change.
And let's let the kid have a red zone possession. Mm-hmm. Maybe, I don't know. I've seen Bill do things like that.
It's weird just to give Hoyer one
weird.
drive in the middle.
It was.
All right, you're good.
But I don't know. Mac Jones has got as many reps in the joint practices this week as anybody, and he didn't.
He got all he got a lot of work.
And how did that prep him for some real, close to real time game action tonight?
I guess not, but your point, Hardy. I mean, I found myself thinking about it. It's like, wow, Zappi's played a ton. Like, I mean, I feel like he's done some things. Like, you've seen more. I mean, I don't want to say
Zappi
he's better.
In line for the game one, the week one start.
I know. Like, we're starting to wonder.
They said it on the blog.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
They did.
Oh boy,
Fred, they're trying to get Zappi ready. They're trying to get Zappi ready with the backups.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
So people were saying on the blog that Zappi's better than Mac.
There were a couple people say, serious question, would you consider starting Zappi in week one? Yep.
I'm not surprised at that.
I shouldn't be, but I am.
And I said, I'm going to take your word for it that this is a serious question. No.
Okay.
Good answer, Fred. You did your part.
Right.
Head coach Bill Belichick after tonight's win over the Carolina Panthers at Gillette Stadium. Here's the head coach.
There's things that we could do better and clean up, but I thought there was progress. We had a good week here, a couple of good practice days against Carolina, and then some of the guys that didn't get as many reps in practice got more reps tonight. So I think we got a good, pretty good look at everybody. We'll look at the film here and see how things went. But another step in the process, and we'll just keep grinding it out here. Look forward to the week in Vegas. Work with the Raiders and Josh and the coaching staff out there. So it's another opportunity for us to continue to build and evaluate our team. So feel like we had a good week here and ready for another one.
How you doing, Bill?
Good.
Mac Wilson's made a pretty big difference since he's come here. How has he looked in the last 2 preseason games for you?
Yeah, Mac's really come on, through the spring and then in preseason when certainly the pads come on. He's an explosive player, contact player, and adds speed to our team on both defense and the kicking game. So good to have him, and I think he's getting a little more comfortable out there, each day, each game. With the guys he's playing with and our communication, things like that. So, he's been a good addition. Thanks.
Bill, last week you described the process of finding an offensive play caller. You said you were in the middle of a process. It looked like Matt Patricia was calling all the plays tonight. Would you describe that process for selecting someone complete at this point?
No, it's still a process.
Bill, over here.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. On Kendrick Bourne, why didn't he suit up tonight?
He wasn't available.
The third drive offensively, what did you see that sort of got the offense into a better flow than the first 2?
Well, we just missed a couple of plays on the first 2. But, it's football, so I don't think there were really any big problems. Or just our execution and just if we don't get that first down, then obviously it's it's a short drive.
And just follow up on that. I mean, to have that group cap it off on that third drive, how significant is that to just? I guess it was Mac. Some of the players stayed on there, but to have his night end on that, how significant?
Yeah, good. Good to string some plays together. Wish we could have done that earlier, but it was good to finally get that done.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
Good.
As someone who very much respects special teams in the punting game, how do you feel that the special teams fared tonight?
We had our moments. Didn't do a very good job in the return game, punt return game. Had trouble with the gunners. Didn't handle the ball well. Anytime you don't handle the ball well, you're not going to have a good return game. So our coverage was okay. Made a couple field goals, missed one. So certainly could be better. And we can coach it better. We can execute it better. But the punt return game was disappointing. We didn't really do anything on that. Got a break when they had unsportsmanlike conduct penalty and added 15 yards onto the last return there. But should be better. Needs to be better.
Bill, how would you describe the communication aspect between play caller and quarterback tonight?
How would I describe it? Normal.
Hi, Coach. Coach Strange played well into the third quarter today. What do you see from him today?
I'm sorry?
Coach Strange played well into the third quarter today. What do you see?
Well, again, for all the guys that don't have a lot of experience, certainly he would fall into that category. Just the more playing time, the more opportunity they get, the more they learn, the more they build their conditioning and see different things from the defense. Carolina did a nice job tonight of mixing things up with some pressure, some man pressure, some zone pressure, mix the fronts up. They have a good defensive front, which is good for our offensive line to see. I mean, obviously we had some guys out, but that's gave some other players some opportunities. And again, the more snaps those guys get, the better they get, and the better chance we have to evaluate them. And hopefully we'll be able to get our group together this week, in Vegas, and try to play with, as many players as we can. There were several players that we would like to see out there tonight that weren't available. So that's usually the way it is. But the sooner we get them back out there, the more consistent consistency, we'll be able to build. Thanks.
Hey, Coach, was Matt Patricia calling the offensive plays the entire game tonight?
Communication with the quarterback, yeah. As far as calling the plays, I mean, there's a whole nother process on that, but yeah.
How he did communicating plays to the quarterback?
Yeah, it's normal. It's fine.
So is the process still between you, Joe, and Matt when it comes to selecting the plays?
No.
So does it fall on anyone else, or it's between you three?
Yeah, it's a process.
Got it.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill, can you talk about what you've seen from Lil? Up here. Can you talk about what you've seen from Lil Jordan Humphrey throughout training camp and tonight? Looked like he made some good plays tonight in the passing game and in the kicking game.
Yeah, he's made some plays for us since he's been here. He's a big kid that is tough and has very good hands, and it's kind of a big receiver, tight end-ish type of guy. Has a good feel, very good instincts in the passing game. Handles himself well in the middle of the field, with linebackers and under him, over him, in between them. Kind of, does the right thing there and helps the quarterback out. And he's a big target, and he gets some tough yards after the catch. Did a decent job blocking, on some of the perimeter plays. So and showed up in the kicking game. So it was a player that we got late. Wasn't with us in the spring. Signed him in July or late June, whatever it was. Was coming off an injury last year. It's come in, really worked hard, and it's made a very positive impression here. So I'm glad we have him.
Hi, Bill. Max described some of the frustration he's had to date in the preseason and training camp. Do you feel like confidence-wise he needed to see the type of success he saw on that third drive, or is that not related to his growth?
I mean, it's always nice to do well. That's always good. But I don't think Mac lacks confidence, no. That's the question.
Hey, Bill. Understanding you don't want to tell us much about the offensive play calling situation here.
Never said that. I mean, don't put words in my mouth. I never said that.
I'm not quoting you. I'm just gleaning.
Appreciate it. Okay. Just trying to get the record straight here.
Naturally. How aware or not aware are your offensive players about this process?
I don't know. Ask them.
Bill, with Kendrick Bourne, do you anticipate him being available in Vegas this week?
I expect probably all of our players to be available this week, with maybe the exception of Wilkerson. So we'll see what happens, unless somebody walks in with something here today. But I think that we should be pretty close with everybody, hopefully. So we'll see how it goes. All right, thank you. Yep.
All right, and we thank Microsoft for that. Our sponsor, Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider and laptop of the NFL and the New England Patriots, provides players and coaches with the tools to succeed both on and off the field. Check out the powerful Surface Pro 8, combining the power of a laptop with the flexibility of a tablet at surface.com. Do not put words into the mouth of head coach Bill Belichick.
I think it's funny. I never said that. Well, last week you told me not to worry about it.
Which is what someone should have said. Real quick, though, and I had mentioned that last quote that he had about I expect all the players to be available next week with maybe the exception of Wilkerson. Kind of missed it, like the lead there, Thornton. Yeah. He expects Thornton to be available next week unless it slipped his mind.
Yeah, it could have slipped his mind.
It could have, and that led me to kind of jump into Twitter right now just to see if anybody had reported anything. Nobody of substance saying anything, but some rumors that it might have just been a stinger, not from reliable sources, but people who, maybe are.
Yeah, I just think that if it was something that they were fearing was significant, I don't think he would have said, I expect everybody to be available next week, with maybe the exception of Wilkerson.
I just think between Mack, him, and Barmore, those three, like, I'd love to get a full season out of those three, like those young guys who are really promising and exciting. It's just a buzzkill when you get a guy
I hate
like
injuries.
Thornton
I
to
hate
potentially
injuries.
be out.
The one thing, just very quickly, he was asked about, the play calling, and, was it Matt Patricia calling the plays tonight? He said, no. Okay, was he the one? He is the one communicating to the quarterback. Okay.
Yes.
Well,
there's a far bigger process than that.
It's a process. Is it you, Matt, and Joe Judge deciding on the play call? No.
Based on that, no. Well,
he said no.
He did. I know.
I have to parse words there because, not on every play. You know what I mean? So, I think that they're all involved.
He just said no. I'm taking the words out of his mouth. He was asked. He said, "Is the process you, Matt, and Joe calling the plays?" No.
I have to see how. I would have to know how he interpreted the question. Because I do think that all of them are saying something. Between plays.
Well, Joe and Matt were saying plenty to each other after those first two offensive series. They were huddled around that Surface Pro on the sideline.
Well, no, and I didn't see this. I asked you guys. I asked you and Evan during the game, when on those three series when Matt came off, who was anyone sitting next to him like Josh used to do?
I was looking, and I did not see anyone sitting next to him. It was Matt and Joe talking to each other.
To me, that's not good.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that there should be somebody immediately talking to him about what they saw and asking Mac, what did you see? I don't think that. I think that's something that's missing right now.
All right, let's step aside here briefly. We'll come back, and we're going to hear from Mac Jones here in a little bit as the Patriots postgame show continues, presented by Cyber Reason.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Defending against cyber attacks requires seeing in the dark, understanding and ending every threat to your organization on computers, mobile, and the cloud. It takes Cyber Reason. End cyber attacks from endpoints to everywhere.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith. a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment day in and day out to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
And yet somehow Andy Hart's the first one cutting into Steve Burton's birthday cake all by
As
himself.
Fred said, with a piece the size of his head.
Right.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
It's the Patriots Postgame show presented by Cyber Reason. It's Hardy, Mike Dussault, Fred Kirsch, and of course Paul Perillo, the man who is everywhere tonight. He's on the TV set. He's on the interwebs. He's everywhere.
It's amazing.
And a great job on TV.
I'm really starting to enjoy that. The TV part.
You're good at it.
I kind of really like it.
You just stand there and talk like 3 times a game.
He's got the bug. He's got the bug.
It's too bad that I'm an old.
Hollywood
because,
Perillo.
Like the olds don't do well on TV.
It's like Lester Bangs said, you got starry eyes, my friend.
He's going to be like Matt Lauer. He's going to have that button in his desk to lock the door.
Oh.
Matt who?
Matt Lauer.
Oh.
You have to learn how to speak, Fred.
But I think it said Lori.
You know, there's a lot of
Oh,
things.
by the way,
there's a lot of things you can make fun. Like, do you have to call me like a sexual predator? Like,
is it Viscano or Visciano, as
Viscayen-
Bob Sosi would say?
Viscaeno.
Viscaeno. Is it Viscaeno?
I think it's Vizcaino, yeah.
Because our the PA guy was.
They didn't have the
Viscaeno.
pronunciation. It's not on there, Paul. You're going to look
I
for
was
it. It's not there.
I was operating with the belief I wouldn't have to learn his name.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're right about that. After he missed about as badly as you can from 53 yards.
Yeah,
he's a kicker.
I think
though,
it's
you know?
Viscaeno.
Yeah.
Viscaeno.
And I
know
care.
that same name is reasonably common in Major League Baseball, and
Yeah.
that's how they.
Right. Who was the famous one?
Jose. Jose Viscaeno.
This would be a good show for Eric. Yeah.
Milwaukee,
Cleveland?
I believe.
Oh,
Oh God, he would he would so correct my pronunciation. There's a tilde on the end.
Sorry, Eric.
Olazabal.
Yes.
I lost my ball.
Rob in Melbourne, Australia.
We kid because we care.
He says, with Bourne's bad camp and some of the younger receivers flashing, could Bourne be cut or traded before the season? Cheers.
I rule nothing out,
Yeah.
except for the young receivers like pushing him off the.
Like that, it's not a case
like,
of him losing his job.
If
to
something is
somebody.
happening with him that he's putting his own status on the team in jeopardy,
I would agree with that.
I don't argue that. Like I said, I rule nothing out with Bill, but he's not going to let those guys. This Trey Nixon is really pushing Kendrick Bourne off the roster, or little Jordan Humphrey tonight.
barely.
Those guys are clearly a notch below.
Yeah, it's Thornton. I mean, it seems like they want to play a lot of 2 tight ends too. I mean, that seems more like it's going to be more in the plan. So I mean, you can't have 5 wide receivers, 2 top tight ends. I mean, they're just not all going to get.
So when
the
Bill
snap.
says pretty much everyone's going to be available, does that include Hunter Henry?
I mean, I would hope so. I would think. I mean, based on what I think Jeff Howe reported, it sounded like it's
Could be anything from a twisted ankle to a torn ACL.
He's expected to be back sometime between tomorrow and the end of his life.
Right.
Here's an interesting one. Win is part of the problem. This is from Todd in Greenville, North Carolina.
Todd.
I think that Mac is too focused looking for where the pressure is coming from. Win is part of the problem because I'm not sure his body can handle it anymore.
Well, I don't know. Win hasn't been out there for a while.
I was going to say, well, he's not part of the problem tonight. I mean, I'm
extending his streak of absolutely baffling me.
Yeah.
Todd and Green.
But just, I mean, I would say generally I don't think Mac looks, comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't know if that
so
means.
you guys are
in
kind
the
of
pocket.
convincing me that maybe he does need more reps in game action, because maybe that's. Maybe
I just
you
don't
and
know
Fred-
if
maybe
it's
you
going
and
to
Fred
do
are
the
right
trick
about
though.
that.
Like, I mean, it sounds great in theory, but I'm stuck wondering what does
Could be.
preseason really mean.
When when you've got
What
the
does it
red
all really
when
mean,
you've got
Mike?
the red jersey on and you know you can't be hit, that has to be a different feeling than when you know you could get leveled.
For sure.
You know?
Because I was thinking that he'll play maybe a similar amount next week that he did this week. Like 15, 20 snaps. And what do you have, 16 tonight? We figured out 2 3-and-outs and a 10-play touchdown drive.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if he came in and it looked pretty good, I probably wouldn't really care.
So
if
he
only
played the same amount of
3.
snaps,
If it was
but
the same drives,
but he played better.
And they just moved the ball a little bit more consistently, even if it flamed out. I mean, I might feel, slightly better about that, but
the offensive line would, and you're going to make fun of me. I'm opening the door for you to take a shot at me, but I would feel better if like Trent Brown and was out there, and you don't have a Wenyu playing tackle. Like,
right.
I
definitely think that's something
the moving parts
to
worried me a
consider.
little bit tonight with him back there.
Yep.
You want him to come in on his night off? He had the night off.
He had the night off. You want me to ask him to come in into his night off?
I don't
Says in
understand.
the union, he gets this day off.
I don't understand
It's
that.
his birthday.
I don't understand it.
I don't buy it. Like, I believe that Karen is the best in the business. She's a tremendous reporter. I believe that someone told her something like that. I don't believe that he just got the night off.
No,
I don't believe that's
it's not-
accurate information from whoever told it.
No,
to
and
her.
when you first said it, I thought, all right,
She's
well, maybe they're just
accurately
trying to really
reporting
be
it.
safe with him because you're already limited on the tackle depth, and you lose him, and now you're really screwed. But still, as
Because
Fred said,
and I
why
will-
wouldn't he be
we'll
there?
tell
He's
you
not there?
We can tell you stories, Fred and I. Believe me, we can tell you stories.
Yeah.
Going back of how adamant he is about having everybody. Everybody needs to prepare as if they're playing in the game. That's his basic rule of thumb.
Right. It's
And there
game
was
day.
1 year, and it was a million years ago, where there was about 20 guys on the sideline wearing their game jerseys, but not in uniform. And it was like a cocktail party.
It was a
down
real
there.
bad look.
And it was a
Oh.
bad
And he
look.
never
and
did
Bill
it
was
again.
not happy, and they've never done it again.
Yeah, Dan Campbell doesn't like that either. I watched
No,
the new episode
which I
of
was
Hard
laughing
Knocks.
because he was getting a lot of static for it. I was like, Bill feels exactly the same
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, I thought that part was funny in the latest episode. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people have compared Dan Campbell to Bill Belichick, and I think they're right to do that.
Well, I know, and you're very excited about.
Did you watch the
Campbell.
latest episode?
I haven't watched that. I heard the most recent episode is not as good as the first one.
No. But that Amon-Ra St. Brown, remember him, the receiver?
He rattled off
He's
like
a
the
psycho.
The 17
I mean, in a
receivers
good way.
that got taken ahead of him.
And then you meet his dad too, as a former Mr. Olympia. And he's just like talking about how serious his kids are about Tamara show, lifting weights. And they're all lifting weights, and and he's like, look at them, they ain't talking, they're serious, like they're just obsessed.
Right, and they're like 10-year-olds.
Yeah,
lifting
they've
weights.
been doing even now. They're still like it, but he's he's an intense guy. It's good. I'm enjoying it.
Let's go to Kakar. In Jacksonville. What's going on?
Hey, I just had a quick question about what the process is. And I'm sick and tired of hearing Bill talk about the process. I was just wondering what your guys' thoughts are on what this offensive game plan is.
It's the new buzzword for training camp 2022 process. I mean, that is.
But you can't possibly expect us to know what the process is, do you?
Well, no, but don't put words in the coach's mouth either. I mean, there's a lot of dancing around.
It's a great question. I just don't have an answer.
Yeah, because
But they're gonna get him one of these days. They keep.
It looks
they'll
like
get him.
Matt Patricia will be the one communicating with the quarterback.
Yeah. As to what he's communicating, maybe it comes from Bill, perhaps at times.
What's the name of that place that you want Deuce to go to, the Mexican place?
Roberto's?
Roberto's. Maybe he's giving his Roberto's order to
Somebody
Matt
asked a
Jones.
good question tonight that I didn't know the answer to. Who is now Bill's Ernie Adams up in the booth? Is it Matt Groh? Or who's the person up there?
I think Matt Groh is probably
I'm
a
gonna
good guess.
I'm going to guess Evan Rothstein. No?
Yeah.
Is that not his name?
No, you're right.
That's his name?
You're
I
right.
got that right?
You're right. But that's a big jump. I mean, can you imagine going from Ernie Adams and Matt Patricia, two guys that you've known for a long time, and now you got some kid from Detroit who's been here 2 years, and he's the one I don't know.
I just think he's more of an analytical
Yeah.
kind of guy, and he might be good with
And I mean, it's
time
worth
management
pointing
and
out when
whatnot.
they all got COVID in Detroit, he all
Bill,
of a sudden
throw the
was the play
flag for this
caller.
one. Throw the flag.
Snap it.
Who is this? Shut up.
Oh, by the way, great challenge by Bill tonight.
That was great.
On that.
Yeah, that was a really close one. I
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
I thought live it was a fumble, and I thought it was a good overturn. What'd you guys think?
I saw him going.
I agree.
I saw him going for the sock, and I was like, "Oh, it's happening! It's happening!" And then I just was laughing, imagining him every pregame going through that process of having to stuff that thing into his sock. Like that has to be part of his pregame routine, that he gets the flag and has to like
That thing's got to be.
stuff it down.
And on a
It's
night
another
like
one that-
tonight,
it's another one that bugs me.
That thing's
Can't
got
just
to
put
be
it in your pocket like anybody else.
No, and it's got to be gamey coming out of that sock.
Gamey.
You know,
It's just like annoying. You ever had something in your sock for a whole game? It would bug
As
me.
a kid, I remember like we brought our bikes up to the convenience store, and you would stick
put like
like
a
your,
couple bucks.
your
money-
dollar,
your money in your
into the
sock.
sock,
Yeah.
and with a back in my day,
Get a
Deuce,
quarter, it
with
gets
a,
in the
with
sock,
a dollar,
or-
you could get yourself a can of soda pop and a candy bar,
And a
that's all you
Slurpee.
needed.
Yeah.
But you had to fold up that dollar and put it in
It's a
there.
little sweaty.
It would
Who
get a
is
little
it?
sweaty,
Who's-
but it really got bad when you got the change.
Oh yeah, and then
Because
it goes down into the sock.
If you had good socks,
yeah.
you could probably keep like $1.50 up high in your sock
the
for a while.
dimes and nickels.
But
you're
once you start
gone.
getting your socks a little stretched out, now the change is down around your toes somewhere. It's just not. It's not what we're looking for.
$1.50, rich kid over
gotta
here.
get a fanny pack.
Walking around with more.
Well,
than
I mean, I had a
dollar.
paper route.
Okay, all right.
I worked for that money.
I understand. Who's the guy up in the booth? Who is it? Ross?
We don't know.
Evan Rothstein.
We're sort of guessing. It
Oh,
might be
yeah.
a guy named Evan. You should know him from Detroit.
he's
He was
from
the
Detroit.
offensive coordinator
I thought-
in the famous game against Tampa when they
I
lost
thought you were
like
talking
48
about
to 8.
Sam Rothstein, who was the food
Oh,
and beverage
yeah.
manager.
Yeah,
They
yes,
kept changing his
right,
title,
yep.
so you moved the application back down to the bottom of the pile. They got guys working there 10 years who don't have a license.
Talk about Vegas. I mean, there you go.
How about
Vegas, baby.
How about the quarterback from tonight? I say the quarterback. The guy who got the start and got a series and
Three
series total. All right, did not play the entire first half, but it was enough for him to go out there and do a little something. Mac Jones. Let's hear from him in his post game right now.
That third drive for you to come out of here feeling in a good spot?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a rocky start, but that's kind of how it goes when you haven't played for a little bit, and you just got to continue to play. And the guys on our team, we came together, kind of operated, didn't freak out or anything, just carry on and get our mojo back and keep everything going forward. So it was a good drive, and the game is 60 minutes, and right now a lot of the younger guys are getting a chance to play, which is great. So we understand how long a 60-minute game is, and I think that was a good learning lesson of, all right, let's keep playing here, and when we get into the season, we'll have a lot of chances to play those games out and continue to grow, whether it was a good first drive or not.
Mac, what have you noticed is the biggest difference between playing as a rookie and entering a game as someone with a year under their belt?
Yeah, I think, as a rookie, you're out there just trying to do your job and play your role and kind of just do exactly what you're supposed to do. And now with a little bit of freedom and a little bit of more experience is obviously good, but at the end of the day, it's football, and it's the same game that we've all been playing since we were little, and it was just good to get back out there. And I know it's a long season ahead, so it was good to get the feet wet again and continue to grow from that.
Mac, your scoring drive went across the end of the first and into the early in the second quarter. Was the original plan for you just to play the first quarter and then sit out the rest of the game, or did Bill and Matt talk to you and say, we want you to finish this off, we want you to score on this drive?
There wasn't any timetable or anything. I just knew I was going to get a chance to play, so I just went out there and did that. And like I said, it's the preseason, so we want to get a lot of players' looks and stuff. And I got a chance to go out there and work with the offense and kind of get everybody on the same page here, and that's what it's all about.
Can you take us through the pass play with Nelson? You guys have obviously hit a few of those in practice, and how nice does it feel to hit it in the game?
Yeah, it was good. I think it was a good play call, and he went up and made a good play, and I had plenty of time to throw it. And by that time we're moving the ball a little bit, so that was a good explosive play for a touchdown drive, and that's important for putting points on the board. So it was a good catch too.
Mac, along the line of the question that was just asked about the continuing drive between the first quarter and the second quarter, at the end of the first quarter, I noticed you go by the bench not to talk to anybody and grab a ball, start working out. Was that in your mind? You didn't want to talk to anybody about coming out? You wanted to stay in? You just didn't feel you wanted to talk? You wanted to make sure you stayed in?
Oh, I have no idea. I knew I was going in, they didn't tell me I was out yet. So I just always do that before any drive. Throw a couple passes, 5 or 6, and then when I feel good, I know I'm ready for the next drive. So I've done that since I was 5 years old, and I'll continue to do that.
Hey, Mike. I have a question about the scramble play before the touchdown in the second quarter. Was that designed play, or if not, what did you see that set you off?
No, it was not designed. It was just a pass play, and there's people open, but they played very soft off. So I just kind of found my way and got positive yards and got down.
Mac, it seemed like last week there was a picture in your locker from that Bills playoff game at the end of last season. When you see that photo every day coming into the facility, what does that do for you?
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of like having motivation stuff in your locker. And my dad actually, the two things that he's always showed me is the poem "Man in the Arena" and "If" by Rudyard Kipling. So those are the two that are more important to me. But I've always done that, and that's last year. But I think it's motivation to just come in here and work every day. And I do love the two poems a lot. So that's a big shout out to my dad, because he kind of gave me those when I was probably like 6 years old, and kind of explained everything to me. And then as I grew, I continued to just enjoy that. Actually, the "If" poem is in Wimbledon, so that's where he learned about it, in the locker room in Wimbledon. So it's pretty cool.
Mac, it seems like the offense has made progress in terms of just communication with each other on the field. How would you characterize the communication tonight in the game setting?
Yeah, it was good. I think just kind of a different perspective in the preseason. Obviously not playing every snap, so it's cool to see the game from a different perspective and listen to the coaches and help the young guys. I like to let them play and do their thing, because that's how I kind of like to be too, is just go out there and play and then save the tape for the game film, the next day or whatever. But I can always give tips, and the communication between the coaches and assistant coaches was great. I think that is something that we made a lot of progress in, just positive next play mentality, versus maybe dwelling a little bit.
Mac, first game where you have Matt Patricia in your ear calling plays, Joe Judge helping out on offense with in-game action. How was that, having them kind of coach you up, and how excited did that just get you for the regular season?
Yeah, I think Matty's done a great job. He's one of the most brilliant people I've ever been around in terms of football knowledge. So, between all the coaches we have, they've done a great job preparing us, and he's really starting to get a feel for it. And that's the thing, is just growing each week and making sure that we can stack, good days together. And he's very easy to talk to on the sideline, very easy, laid back kind of type coach, but demands a lot, and I respect that about him. And hopefully we can grow for a long time.
Working with little Jordan Humphrey since he came over a couple months ago?
Yeah, I think LJ's a beast, and when he got signed here, I remember I texted him and asked him if he wanted to come catch, and he immediately responded and found a way to make it out to where we were and came to our throwing session. So he's a grinder. He's a big dude. He's great on special teams too. So we have great receivers, and it's great to see them all get a chance to catch the ball and run. And he's a big body type receiver, and that's a good addition for us. Cool. Thanks. See you guys.
All right, there's Mac Jones, who does not sound healthy
He's
right
sick.
now.
Yeah.
He's sick.
Hey,
Why didn't anyone ask him that?
I thought he sounded like he was a little under the weather.
That's why.
There it is.
That's why.
So now you don't need to have him play next week, right?
Right.
No. Okay.
So that's actually good news. Also good news that Matt Patricia, who we knew as a brilliant football mind, according to Mac Jones, getting a real feel for the play calling. That's good.
That's good.
It's kind of this is the
It's
type
all
of job
coming together.
Listen,
It's
listen,
all
Fred.
coming together.
This is the type of job on the type of team where you just kind of learn as you go. You don't need to come in knowing how to do the job. You can kind of, learn while you're doing it. He's getting a real feel for calling the plays. I think that's great.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's, I think
I
that's
mean,
terrific.
you should know, like your music show, you've gotten better as you've done it.
I'm getting a feel for it
Yeah.
after 30 years.
Yeah.
I am. I'm starting
Just
to
like say who the artist is and what the song is.
Yes,
I mean, he
absolutely.
does more than that. He gives you a little background behind the music. It's like VH1.
You know, joking aside, though, I would be curious, really, what the difference is calling defensive plays versus offensive plays. Just, like I hate when people are like, what's your frame of mind? What's your frame of mind? But what is the frame of mind whereas in an offense you're kind
Trying
of
to
being
score.
proactive.
Well, when you have
and
the
in
ball,
defense,
the
you're
other
kind of
one is
reactive.
trying
Like
to get the ball.
offensively, you're thinking about
good.
what are we trying to do. Defensively,
He's
you're trying to
good.
think what are they going to try to do. How do I counter it? It's just a
Right.
different frame of mind. I would be curious. I know
Freddie's
this
got
is
it.
such a silly.
Just curious.
Just curious.
Just curious.
I'm just curious. What's your frame of mind? Talk about your frame of mind. That would be the 3 for
talk
3.
about it.
I'm just
Yeah.
curious. Talk
Curious.
about your frame
Curious.
of mind. Boom.
Let me tell you something. There's a little something too there. He said, "I'm hoping that we can grow, together for a long time." Get used to this idea of Matt Patricia in an important role on the coaching staff of the New England Patriots.
Oh, he does have one of the best calls, one of the most famous calls in Super Bowl history.
I'm just saying, you want to set up long term. You want to think about, what's going to be happening here for several years, maybe even beyond Belichick. Mac Jones just gave you a little preview for a long time.
When they make the playoffs this year, you'll be like, yeah, great.
Well, hopefully he's going to get a much better feel for it as he goes.
Am I the only one that thinks Bill Belichick is doing all this stuff?
What do you mean
Doing
all
what?
this stuff?
Like everything offensively. I think it's all Bill.
You think
I think
Bill's?
that's why he's telling you, like, no, that's not the way it works. And no, that's
me.
I'm telling them what to call.
Yeah.
They're calling the play into the communication system, but I'm telling them what to call.
I think at the very least it's like a hand-holding situation like that.
Well, if
I got to be honest, I'll be consistent about this. Given the 3 options, that's by far the one I like the most.
Yep.
Bill. He's the best coach.
But so what would the problem be? Because he's been asked several times now, well, what is the process? And one of the times he answers, he goes, we don't have enough time. We don't have enough time to tell you what the process is. What if the process were as simple as what you just said, Paul? I come up with a play, I tell Matt calls it in to the quarterback. Why would that take so long to
That's
explain?
not a good process. Takes too long.
So
not
it's
a good process.
So you're saying that Paul is incorrect. That's not.
If that's what they're doing, and if that's what the plan is, then you might as well just have Bill do it. It's more direct.
Yeah. I mean, I think it might be something in terms of like for this, but that they've pre-planned for all I know.
Well, it's a process.
Like it's
That's all
scripted.
we know.
I mean, maybe for now, Bill has got the training wheels on Patricia.
Yeah, I'm
and
not
then,
telling you it's going to be like that every day.
Yeah, and then by the time September 11th, he takes the training wheels off, and he only has input at certain points in the game.
Steps, process.
Yeah.
Okay.
Process.
That's
All right.
part of the process.
That's part of the process. Okay.
Process it.
All right. I'm going to process what just happened here for 30 seconds, then we'll come back to wrap up the Patriots postgame show. And for that, we thank CyberReason, presenters of the Patriots postgame show. Great defenders don't just play in the field, they're also protecting your company and data. CyberReason on a mission to end ransomware and keep your business undefeated against cyber attacks. Learn more at cyberreason.com/ransom.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
Defending against cyber attacks requires seeing in the dark, understanding and ending every threat to your organization on computers, mobile, and the cloud. It takes CyberReason. End cyber attacks from endpoints to everywhere.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
He was tipping his hand. Yeah, like
he had a tell.
Like he was
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
So excited to use that phrase. He had to tell.
And I'm the child in the background going,
All right. Are you guys going to work on your tells before you go to Las Vegas? You're going to sit in a live poker room? You know, maybe you got to work on your tell.
So when you take the Oreo apart,
right? Don't.
What do you do?
I wouldn't even bring the Oreos to be on the safe side.
Teddy was
He
it Teddy
BS
KGB?
me.
Teddy KGB. That
Teddy
was his,
KGB.
His
Yeah.
tell
Straight
was
up.
he ate it when he had a good hand, and he didn't eat it when he had.
I'm a terrible liar, so I'm sure I have 100.
No,
tells.
Deuce is like, he comes across as like all-American dad, but we'll find out in Las Vegas.
He's got all
like
kinds of vices.
Oh
Right,
yeah,
right. I got like the shady glasses
like he's
on.
At
I'm
4 in
just-
the morning
right.
at the craps
Just in
table.
that-
Come on, what?
But that private poker area where people have just been, they don't even know what time of
Yeah,
day it is,
right.
or when they're just there like the whole time. And yeah, it's Tuesday now. You have to leave.
Mike, we have practice. You have to cover practice. That's the reason you're here. I'll be there. I'll meet you there.
Just triple my per diem. Leave me alone.
How many people from the staff are going on the trip like that? You would consider part of your crew, Fred? How many guys
13.
13. How many do you think are going to have? I'm not saying like a
gambling problem when they come home.
Not anything that's going to
Have to be
affect them
bailed out of
long term,
jail.
but are going to have a moment at some point in Vegas that will be defined as a Vegas moment.
I told them if they do not say you work for the New England Patriots.
Okay, that's fine. But do you have a couple of people singled out where you said, I bet he's going to have a night?
No, I have all.
No, it's kind of the opposite.
I have all very,
Yeah.
Straight-laced,
Yeah.
responsible
Yeah.
young people.
I think it's going to be Deuce.
And Deuce.
I think it's going to be Deuce.
Last time I was on the road with
definitely not
Deuce,
gonna
he
be
was singing karaoke with me and Marine Corps.
I think it's gonna be Matt Smith.
Well, Matt.
That's a no-brainer.
That I could see. That I would understand.
Uncle Matt likes to go out and have a good time.
Well, I've been to Vegas. I just wonder if there's any younger people coming that have never been to Vegas that are gonna want to go and get the Vegas of it all.
Well, I
'cause
think that they should
13 I couldn't
experience
make
it.
the
I
cut,
think
Hardy.
you should go out at night and check out some of the properties, as they say out there.
Well, Tamara said she went out there like once a month for a long time. She was out there working like to the point where she's just like tired of it, like over it.
Yeah.
And it is. It's exhausting being there. It truly is.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
are going to come back wrecked.
You can't, like, if you can't do more than a couple days there.
No,
that's-
you know.
Well, this is my plan. I'm gonna take the red eye Wednesday night, come in Thursday morning, do like a PU, probably come in just for that because I'll be exhausted. But then Friday night, I'm gonna have to the next night have to do this show. But you're not gonna be here anyway, right? So you won't have to deal with me.
You're going to have Christian Arcan.
Christian Arcan coming in.
Yeah,
That's why.
Isn't that a pretty good
It is.
Arcan?
It is.
it's not bad.
No,
it's an undefinable accent that he's
No,
acquired.
Chicago.
Yeah, but he's from
But
New
he's
Hampshire.
not. I know. But he admits that other people have said that they think he's from Chicago.
I was thinking about that when I was watching them today. I thought you did a pretty good Arcan. That sounded like him.
Yeah, you guys try and figure that out next week. When the Patriots will still be in Las Vegas, you guys will be back here for the third and final preseason game, which is like what game in the years past?
It's another two.
game
It's
two.
another two.
So, do you agree with that
No,
assessment?
that was how he explained it.
No, I'm saying, do you agree with it? Do you concur?
I really don't know.
You should have concurred.
I'd like it to be a 3, but I think
can-
it's a 2.
I think I concur.
I would love for it to be a 3.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be another
Because
2.
the reason why is because of the joints.
Right.
Right.
If they didn't have joint practices, I think this 3 would be a 3.
Do you know the difference between a joint and a blunt and a spliff?
I heard this today.
I heard a little of that
I
talk
did.
today.
I didn't know what a blunt was. I had to have it explained to me, and I don't know if I
Isn't
still
a blunt
know.
a rolled cigarette?
Oh, it's a rolled
It's a
cigar.
cigar.
Rolled cigar?
Joint
All-
is in
yeah.
paper,
All
and a
this-
spliff is mixed tobacco and weed.
Is it now?
Like,
is
like
it
in The Gentleman. That's what he makes himself a nice 50-50 mix.
now is it a is
Okay.
it pronounced? It's a spliff.
Spliff, yeah.
I don't know why I
Spleef?
thought it was spleef.
Spleef. Oh, spliffy if you want.
Pronounced spliff.
Spliffy. now, as I understand it, Matthew, it's pronounced spliff. Is that correct?
Drugs are bad.
Okay. Yeah. No, I did. I learned a little something today listening to Hardy and Arcans.
But the blunt is marijuana pot dope, as you would acquire and enjoy it. But the blunt itself is actually just the roll. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
It's just different names for the
'Cause you
way
wrap
you're
it in
smoking
tobacco.
it.
What about the chronic?
Oh, you.
Chronic's the type of marijuana.
I mean, I lived in California. I mean, come on.
What about the White Widow Super Cheese? What is that now? Okay, can we go?
This is why we got to shoot the post game show to an hour after these night
This is
games.
the best part. This is what people stay up for. The guy in UK, he's still listening. It's 6 o'clock in the morning.
We're here to provide a service.
What is the stickiest of the icky? I need to know.
What about the chronic?
What kind of papers do you use?
I'll just a quick thing before we go though.
What do you got?
The
'Cause
video,
I lost my
the video
my screen.
the video from practice is up. The hit is up. The all 22.
Did he
hit
get laid out?
It looks like a dirty hit to me. It's kind of hard to see. I'll show it to you guys when we get off. But it's on there. Somebody must have somehow leaked the film of it. But I've watched it a couple times. It looks.
So why
it
would
looks
the
like a cheap
Patriots
shot.
have gone to such great lengths to say it wasn't a dirty hit?
I don't know. You can watch it. I don't know. To me, it looks like he just kind of goes in on the side and hits him right in the head on purpose.
Paul's going to go
It's
look
very,
at it right
it's
now.
very, it's very.
I think you should wrap up the final show for the final time.
Okay, final score for the final time. Panthers 10, Patriots 20, and you enjoy the rest of your week. Everyone enjoy your time in Las Vegas. We've lost Paul for the rest of the show, but that's okay because the show's pretty much over. Fred, thank you. Deuce, thank you. Morel, LePan, everybody, thank you for listening and watching.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.